Hello everyone and welcome to this QC Copper and Gold technical webinar on the Opimiska Copper Complex project. My name is Charles Beaudry and I'm the Vice President Exploration for QC Copper and Gold. We are listed on the Venture Exchange under the symbol QCCU and we just changed our name to better reflect our new focus. I'm a geologist by profession and a qualified person or QP as per NI 43101 and I have created this webinar. There will be forward-looking statements in this presentation, and we want to draw your attention to the fact that there are no current mineral resources or mineral reserves on the Opimiska Copper Complex project, but there are 4 historical mines. The exploration potential for the project is very clear, and we think that the timing is right to reevaluate the old Chapet mining camp using an approach similar to Canadian Malartic and Detour Gold. We plan to move quickly to complete approximately 20,000 meters of drilling in the first half of next year to define an in-pit, indicated and inferred mineral resource and follow that up with a preliminary economic analysis or PEA before the end of the year. We also have defined a new structural model for the mineralization in the camp that is generating new drill targets. And finally, we will be summarizing our proposed 2021 drilling and work plans. So how do we see Opimiska? Well, first of all, we think this is not a grassroots exploration project. We see excellent potential to define near-surface copper-gold resources at the Springer and Perry mines. These were underground mines with cutoff grades of 1.5% copper, and because of that, the operators were forced to leave a lot of mineralized rock behind. We think we can redevelop these old underground mines as an open pit. Our drilling in 2019 proved our thesis that we could find disseminated mineralization between the old underground stopes. We plan to carry out 20,000 meters of drilling in next year to bring the project to resource stage with a preliminary economic analysis and follow up on a new exploration model for the district that could lead to early discovery of gold and copper. The existing infrastructure and mining-friendly communities of Chapet and Chibougamau can allow us to fast-track the development of the project if we are successful in this phase of work. There are 4 historical underground mines on the Opimiska project, which together produced 1.2 billion pounds of copper and about 530,000 ounces of gold. To put that in perspective, this is a third of the copper production of the Chibougamau Chapet mining district historically, and about 10% of the gold production. The project spans over 13 kilometers of the highly prospective Gwillim Fault, which we will later show in this presentation that may be intimately related to the deposits of the type found in Chapet. We had a theory for the Opimiska project. Falcon Bridge mined high-grade copper veins with a 1.5% copper cutoff. What if they had to ignore the low-grade halos of mineralization around the veins? As long as this material is above a cutoff grade in an open pit, the pillars, along with the narrower unmined veins, could provide us with an in-pit resource that is high enough grade and with a reasonably low strip ratio to be economic. This model has been successfully applied at the Canadian Malartic mine and also at Detour and at Côte Lake. The historical data we had on hand suggested this was possible, and our 2019 program, which consists of 3,300 meters of drilling in 23 holes on the Springer mine, confirmed this thesis. We confirmed in particular some high grades in and around the crown pillars and in some internal pillars, and we also confirmed long mineralized intervals above the cutoff grade, and some of those are pretty high grade indeed. On the Springer project, our Springer mine, we're proposing a 6,000 meter, 25-hole program that will be complementing our previous drilling and historical mine drilling. Holes will be optimized for mineral core angles while avoiding stopes as much as possible. Hole spacing of 50 to 75 meters will provide for indicated and inferred mineral resources that will be followed by a PEA. At Perry, an 8,000 meter drill program, including some twin holes, along with historical drilling, is expected to provide an in-pit, indicated and inferred mineral resource. Traditional interpretation suggests that the mineralization found at Chapet, which consists of veins and mineralized shear zones and faults, is older than the Gwillim Fault, an important northeast-oriented structure that spans 13 kilometers of strike on the project. This fault saw a lateral movement that displaced the rocks on the south side of the fault, approximately 3.5 kilometers to the east. Much of historical exploration was tried to find the supposed offset extensions of Springer and Perry on the south side of the fault, but without much success. Our new theory suggests that the mineralization at Opimiska is actually contemporaneous with later movement on the Gwillim Fault. We will show an animation that explains what we have interpreted. This very busy regional map is presented just to show where the mines are located in relation to the Venture and Bourbeau sills, which on this map show up as in magenta, brown, and beige colors. These intrusions are sills, which means they were in place early on as horizontal sheets in the then horizontal rock formations, and that these rocks were subsequently folded and deformed even before the Gwillim Fault had appeared. The sills are the main hosts for the Opimiska type veins, and the map shows that the sills were cut off and offset by the Gwillim Fault. You can see here with the pointer that the rocks in magenta were offset to the northeast about 3 to 4 kilometers. Conventional interpretation suggests that the deposits at Chapet were formed prior to the Gwillim Fault, and the vein system was subsequently offset by 3 to 4 kilometers to the northeast. However, nobody has ever been able to find the offset portion of these deposits on the south side of the fault, in spite of a lot of exploration. Our new theory suggests that the copper-gold veins were actually formed during the latter history of the Gwillim Fault, and as such, there is no significant offset and no reason to look for any deposit offset. Moreover, the Cook Mine is thought to be caused by the Beaver Lake Fault, located nearby but on the other side of the Gwillim Fault. We think that the Beaver Lake Fault is thought to have punched through the Gwillim Fault at the moment it inverted from left lateral to right lateral movement and propagated to the south of the fault, producing the mineralization at the Cook Mine. You can see here and this is the Beaver Lake Fault down here, and this is where it punched through and mineralized the block to the south. We will show an animated sequence that illustrates our structural model. The Venture and Bourbeau sills, shown on the animation as vertically dipping intrusions, were folded prior to being deformed by the Gwillim Fault. Drag folding on the sills produced a Z pattern of folding on both sides of the fault, consistent with the left lateral movement. The animation starts out with an oblique view of the sill towards the northwest and shows the Venture sill in magenta and the Bourbeau sill in brown. The rectangle that we see is simply the window of the animation. The Opimiska copper veins themselves were formed in response to drag folding along the Gwillim Fault, which progressively folded the Venture and Bourbeau sills, eventually rupturing the rocks along the hinge zones of the synform and antiform that are located in the area. As deformation progressed, the Gwillim Fault, which has a total displacement of 3 to 4 kilometers, stopped and reversed direction, and at that moment the relaxation in the regional stress field allowed hot mineralizing solutions to percolate and flood through the system and create the veins at Chapet. At this time, near the end of the animation, the Beaver Lake Fault punctures the Gwillim Fault and causes the mineralization at the Cook Mine. This theory suggests that we should not be looking for an offset of the Springer Mine on the south side of the Gwillim Fault, something which has been a traditional exploration target in Chapet. More prospectively, the theory also suggests that other northwest trending structures, or faults, or mineralized trends could also puncture the Gwillim Fault and provide immediate extensions of mineralization on the other side of the fault, whether it be to the south or to the north. This could be the case for the Chibougamau copper veins, the extension of the Mount Springer veins, and the extension of mineralizations at Tadpole and Elsie Lakes. Note that the area close to the Gwillim Fault generally does not outcrop because it's covered by gravel overburden and it's not been well explored. You can see that several of these targets will be drill tested, and the drill core will be systematically oriented to better understand where the veins are going. In the northeast corner of the Opimiska property, the contact between felsic volcanics of the Wakanichi Formation and mafic volcanics of the Gilman Formation are exposed in outcrop. This is an important contact because it's host to massive sulfide deposits at Lemoine on the south side of the camp and at Scott Lake on the north side of the Chibougamau camp. The Lemoine production was small at 760,000 tons, but was also very high grade with an average of 4.2% copper, 4.2 grams gold, and 63 grams per ton silver. At the Scott Lake VMS deposit, located less than 2 kilometers from the northeast property boundary, Yorbo Resources recently outlined a total of 3.6 million tons of indicated resource at 4.2% zinc, 0.95 copper, 37 grams silver and 0.22 grams per ton gold, and an additional 14.3 million tons of inferred resource at 3.5% zinc, 0.78% copper, 22 grams silver, and 0.22 grams per ton gold. No formal conductors have been outlined at this contact on the Opemiska property, but the tau filter, which we see here on the map, it's a gridded tau filter, which can indicate the presence of deep and weak conductors, shows several anomalous zones at the right location in the stratigraphy, which we propose to follow up with deep penetrating ground geophysics. These are high risk, high reward type targets and merit follow-up. In conclusion, we believe very much that we can do this. We are intensely focused on delivering a pit-constrained 43101 compliant mineral resource for the Springer and Perry mines, and our Blue Sky regional compilation has outlined a new structural model that indicates that the copper gold veins at Opemiska were formed later than previously thought and contemporaneously with the Gwillim fault. If we are correct on either count, this project could create a lot of value for all stakeholders. Our plan is to deliver a maiden pit mineral resource on Springer and Perry in the first half of next year, and a PEA before the end of the year. We also hope to conduct some exploration drill testing to test our new structural model in the camp in 2021. Results permitting, we hope to fast track the project to start of pre-feasibility within the next 24 months. Thank you for your attention, and please feel free to contact us if you have any questions.